What up, y'all? Back again. Today I kind of wanted to talk about like the different red flags that you will be introduced to when, let's say, you meet a narcissist and it's like you start dating a narcissist, and like what would be the red flags that you'd watch out for, you'd want to be concerned about, or things that you could catch real quick so that you don't have to land yourself in some 10-year freaking devastated, trauma-bonded relationship where you're like freaking losing everything to all the destruction that they put between you and them. So, first things first, I'm just going to tell you some things that I noticed, and then also like some things that are kind of common. The first thing that I noticed was like, because I didn't hone my intuition, but in hindsight, my intuition was there. And so I had the ability to, in a weird way, rewind myself and be like, the things that were not right to me. I guess everybody has this opportunity, but I was able to rewind and like what was real familiar to me. I don't know if it's like photographic or what, but anyway, it was more of like feelings. The first thing that hit me was that I was in the presence of somebody that was hollow. It was like they were soulless. And I don't know if I ever felt that way before. I guess what I'm trying to say is I think the other like narcissists or borderlines that I had dealt with in the past, maybe there was something that they still had a little bit of heart, because this individual was, like I said, she was I don't want to, I can't diagnose, and I'm not a professional, but from looking in the DSM-5 and all the stuff that they say, I think she was along the lines, I'll just say, along the lines of a sociopath. Okay, so and this is most definitely the strongest like type narcissist I'd ever been with, and I think that this one was, I don't know, something like she was completely soulless. I still to this day feel a little weird about that, but that was what my intuition was telling me. I did have butterflies, and I tell you, butterflies are always like a sign that not that you're in love, but that you're in the presence of a narcissist. So I did have butterflies, and that's what I call it's like you're getting red flag, but you're getting love bombed at the same time. So it's like I call it a feel good red flag. But anyway, yeah. But anyway, so that was like, that's something to watch out for. Also, things just didn't seem right, like, and when things don't seem right, chances are they're not right, because it's your intuition, right? It's your discerning of spirits. And so if things don't seem right, then get the hell out of there. But what I noticed was like I was having like a real tough time on a first date trying to figure out like simple things like where she lived, and like her stories, like information about background, because when you're meeting somebody for the first time, you're going to be kind of, asking information about like their history a little bit, because you don't know too much about them, so that's something to keep in mind, because a lot of times what I tell you all the time is they don't tell you a whole lot about their background. I don't know, well, generally speaking, they don't want to, because it's part of a way for them to get over on you, because it turns into, like I said, I call it word salad over time, because they give you bits and pieces and you don't get a real full demographic or biography, and so it's hard for you to retain any of it. It turns into like what I call like a word salad, and then you forget it all almost. It's hard it becomes just confusion. And so I was getting a lot of confusion on these first few dates, and it was like pulling teeth trying to get information. And she did bring up a couple of like exes, and so that to me is also a red flag. If you hear about like that they were, have had a lot of dates, short-lived dates and stuff like that is kind of what it sounded like. Plus she had an ex-husband that and so, you know, short-lived dates and things like that are a red flag. Or if they're like single, if they're single a lot, you know, like it sounds like they've been dating, but they've just never really found the right one. Maybe it's not that they're single and haven't found the right one, but they're dating everybody kind of like just for a few months. And so they have posted up on their social media and stuff that they're single because they run through people so quick, and then they kind of turn around and maybe recycle them. So you got to keep an eye on that. But, you know, one thing I do remember is that she had told me that she always keeps friends with her ex-boyfriends. She did tell me that. Like, anybody she's dated in the past, like, she's not the type to, like, become enemies with them, is kind of what she had told me. But basically that was, you know, in other words, she had a harem. And so, you know, that's something to keep in mind, because that was something that kind of hit me strange, because it was kind of like in the form of, you know, I was starting to feel a little jealousy already, you know, because I'm just starting to get to know this person, and she's telling me she talks to all of her ex-boyfriends, you know, and I really, you know, at this particular time, I had liked her already, you know, I like the idea of her. The I love yous, if they come real fast and real quick within just a matter of a couple of dates, beware of that. That's going to be most definitely a narcissist. Or if, you know, of course, marriage in the early days, like before 3 months, before 6 months, anybody that proclaims they're ready to get married, I would be aware of that. I think that, especially somebody with a decent amount of years, you know, in this world, you know, you're going to want to date somebody at the minimum 2 years before you even think about getting married, because 2 years is like the minimal amount of time to where you get to know somebody. And I'm talking about somebody that you see on a frequent basis. You don't want to be with somebody that you have like a long distance thing with, or you just see them a couple of times a week, because you really want to get to know this individual. And if somebody's wearing a mask or they're seeing multiple partners, they can hide that very well if they just see you like 1 to 2 times a week. And that's why, like, when I've talked to people that dated narcissists, and they told me, like, you know, like, oh, it was good for a few years, but they only saw them like once a week, you know, and like they lived maybe far away. I think that's what it was, like kind of like a long distance type thing, you know, or they were very busy at work. And if that's the case, I mean, a narcissist can wear that mask for a long period of time. So that's why the golden period, or, you know, like the love bomb phase or the golden period, that can last in some people's for like 2 years and stuff. And that's because they're only seeing them once a week. They can cheat on them all week, you know, outside that one day. And then that one day is like, you know, they're not tired of them. You know, narcissists get tired of people, but they don't get tired of somebody if they just see them once a week, you know. They can, or, you know, once in a while, once every 2 weeks sometimes. They could even stretch it out to, if they're only seeing them once a week, every now and then it's going to be once every couple of weeks maybe. So so that, you know, you're almost like a secondary supply with it, unbeknownst to you, you know what I mean? Anyway, those are a few things. A lot of times you're going to get data mined, and so that's so that they can set you up, so they can destroy you later, or that they can mirror you real good. So data mining is very important to them. Quick sex is huge. Like, if it's like really within like I've had like quick sex before, but like we're talking about real, like the narcissists, a lot of times they're real quick with sex. Like sex is almost like nothing to them. It's just like, it's like a dinner date or something, you know. So which if you're a man, that could be cool, you know, in the beginning, because you're like, wow, this is great, man, we had sex, you know, it's cool on like first, second date or whatever, right? And that's cool and all, but the quicker a woman gives it up, you know, sometimes they might be giving it up to other people that quick too. So you want to be careful about that. And men, I mean, whoever, you know, we're talking to men and women here. But these are some things that you want to watch out for. You know, sometimes they will try in the beginning as well. Like, they'll postpone like a date with you just to see like if you're well accepting of that. They want to know like if you're abusive, or they're testing you, checking you to see. That happened to me, and I know that they do those types of things where, you know, they'll cancel on you, you know, maybe because their son's father, they'll blame it on like their baby daddy or whatever, or their ex-husband. In my case, it was an ex-husband. And then like I didn't, you know, think that much of it because, you know, so I passed that test right away. Also, if it's too good to be true, you know, in the love bomb phase, if it's too good to be true, then that's never good. And the in the love bomb phase, when they're trying to trauma bond you, they're going to be you know, giving you a bunch of flattery, just an enormous amount of flattering going on. And mine actually asked me what I wanted in a woman, and then told me that she was gonna become that for me. And she talked about getting married to me quickly, and she wanted to nail me down. She pretty much told me this: I want to nail you down and get pregnant with you and have your baby, so that basically I could be her in home. What I found out later, you know, I mean, after understanding the construct, they're in home, you know, empathic trash can slave. And if I had a kid with her, I'd be attached to her for 18 years, you know. So, you know, they like to get that grade A supply. Sorry for the heat if it's loud, but it's cold out today in Charlotte. Okay, it's cold. And like icicle boogers out here. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, yeah, so this is how it is. And these were like things that I, you know, noticed like right off the cuff. There's going to be a lot more, but what you're going to get is a lot of vagueness. A lot of times they're going to be vague. And, you know, if you get somebody who's very like opinionated, and they get to a point to where they get offended easily, and even while they're wearing the mask, this could happen. This probably will happen because they can't control that much. They will like let it go a lot more during, you know, like the trauma bond first cycle with the grade A type supply or whatever. When they find that empath that they want to nail down, that they consider that grade A supply or whatever, and they know nothing about narcissism, they're just blind to the facts, you know, like I was, then they're going to like let stuff like that go in the beginning because they don't want the mask to slip. But it will slip a little bit because they can't help it if you offend them, or if you defy them, or if you test their control. And when you go against whatever their opinionation is, and you kind of like post up to them, and you may just want to have like a critical thinking, you know, kind of like dialogue type conversation on why you believe maybe a political view or something in the news or whatever. If they're opposed to that, and they'll tell you in the beginning if they're opposed to that, and if you're opposed to, you know, what, you know, they believe in that matter, then you're going to be threatening and challenging the control. And so they like people, of course, that their boundaries are low or no. You know, they like people that want to people please them. And, you know, in the beginning, you know, even, you know, like a lot of times if you like an individual, you will tend to give them extra room to mess up. Like if you're attracted to that individual, for instance, and you're like really attracted to them, you really like the idea of them, you may, you know, for instance, that was kind of something that I allow, was like I was kind of really into this individual, because a lot of times they do come like pretty impeccable looking, and I do believe that that is a cover-up This is for the, like, all of the other weird stuff that they do, you know, and the energy, the negative energy that they carry with them. And I did feel that as well, the negative energy. But they will, you know, come pretty impeccable and come kind of looking put together, but in the background, and once you get to know them, they're trash, and typically their whole life is not at all in order. You know, that's the thing. You just, like, you'll give them a lot of outs if you really like an individual, and it, you know, you can't be like that, because it could lead to things like a trauma bond, or it could lead to things like you having a child with somebody that you dove into, you know, a situation with, and you can't, I'm just going to be out with it, man. You can't let lust take over, man. And in a lot of ways, in a lot of cases, you know, I'll just be real with you. A lot of the narcissists that I have gotten involved with, I did let, like, you know, the issue of lust get to me, because they're usually very quick to love on you, but they didn't have no love to lust on you. And I'm just being real with you. I haven't been really outspoken about this before, but the truth of the matter is a lot of times they can be pretty good looking, and like the ones that I've dealt with, and they can be very lustful. And a lot of empaths are addicted to narcissists. I don't know if y'all had heard about this, but a lot of empaths, certain types of empaths, are addicted to narcissists, but at the same time, that narcissist is very much addicted to you, because what happens is if you are an unawoke empath, then you are going to be getting hit with that lust and stuff so much, and you like the idea of this individual, and what'll end up happening is you'll end up in a weird way, because it's like you may never people please you know, individuals, but because it's the narcissist and they're getting you with some sort of seduction, and plus you grew up with it in the background and you were groomed this way, it just seems to, like, pop right back into your life, and it becomes very easy for you to people please them, and you're building that mask up like nobody's ever done for them, okay? And that's what they get addicted to. They get addicted to them being with you and you being able to prop the mask up. Remember, I told you, you got to prop the mask up. You have to always tell them, you're basically, you're making somebody who is fake. An empath has the ability to make somebody who's fake and wears a mask the empath has the ability, certain empaths have the ability to make that individual, that narcissist, feel real for once in their life. Okay? And what's crazy is at the same time, they are making you feel for the first time in your life, like, they're making you feel whole for the first time in your life during that love bomb phase. Like, you may be an individual where you've always had I had a little bit of emptiness and things in my life that needed maybe to be worked on, that unbeknownst to me, I had some childhood issues, and going through all this, having my spiritual awakening helped me to understand where I came from, the construct I grew up in, and who I was. But I was never going to get it without the opportunity of dealing with the narcissist. So the narcissist, yes, very destructive in my life, hurt me very badly, and I'll never be the same. But at the same time, the narcissist woke me up and leveled me up to the point that I am today. You know, so I grew through it all, and I also realized who I was and some of the injuries I had in my past that I need to straighten out. But when you don't have full-on boundaries and you don't love yourself enough to live with boundaries, you're like a ship that's ready to wreck and to crash against the rocks. So you have to love yourself first. You have to have boundaries. You can't let lust get ahead of you. And whether you're attracted to somebody like so much or not, or even if you feel that lust, or you feel like you have this addiction to somebody, you just can't. And the addiction's a red flag too, because you gotta know and be aware there's a possibility that if you're feeling an addiction to somebody, or you know, then there may be some kind of seduction and negative narcissistic charge behind all that. I'm gonna leave it there. 20 minutes gone, 21 minutes. I don't know how I get to speaking so long. I hope y'all can hear this and follow me, because it's kind of, the car is kind of loud sometimes. But I love y'all. Peace and blessing to each and every one of you. Give me a like, a subscription, a thumbs up, and trying to hit that 1,000, baby. Trying to hit that 1,000. 890 today. So I love y'all. Never thought the channel would grow like this, but I pull my heart out to y'all, and I care about you. And I started this channel because I wanted to bring awareness to people that were dealing with what I was dealing with, and the number of years that I dealt with these destructive individuals and still dealing with them today. You know, I am detached from all of them, but it's like, you know, I still have some healing to go. But, you know, just like y'all, I'm an individual, and I'm a person too, you know? And so I feel what you felt, and I don't ever want to stop feeling, but I just don't want to have to deal with destructive people. I want to find the red flags. I want to see them from far away from now on, and I want to cut these folks out of my life. I want to turn them off, and let them go destroy themselves. I don't want them to destroy other empaths, but I'd rather have them destroy each other, because there's nothing worse than being with somebody who doesn't want to like help themselves, and there's a construct here to where they have something else influencing them at some point in time. And I do feel for them. I have had a lot of sad days for the narcissist, but I just don't want you to think that I hate the narcissist, because I don't hate the narcissist. I love the individual, but I hate the sin, you know, and I can't spend any time. Listen, if anybody is a narcissist, or what I've also noticed is somebody outside the construct of a narcissist, but they're weird, man, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for weird people, and I don't have time for narcissists, because I spend too many years dealing with that. So if they're weird, I drop weird people too, man, because there's other constructs out there that are evil, and they can suck you in through, you know, they're also going to tell you that their ex was an abuser. So sometimes that's true, and sometimes it's not. Usually it's not, though. They're going to come in all humble like an empath, but they ain't. But if you're weird, man, I'm not hanging out with you, because I ain't doing no more of this. So peace, y'all. Love y'all. Give me a thumbs up. Stand tall, soldier. Peace out. Love y'all. Peace.